Not in a second, but I will tell you. You can use the lighter other than that. You're welcome, Lisa. Beautiful. Hey. You guys can sing. You want to sing? Let's sing a little bit. I got to plug in my guitar?
Well, no, I thought maybe. Oh, I got the cable.
This guy.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys sing? I'll say hi to Autumn. And we'll pull. Oh. Yeah, let's do it. I mean, instead of like the silent meditation, right? That's kind of what we do.
Well, I mean, that would be.
Or you mean right now?
Right now.
No, let's do it for instead of the silent meditation. I'm not doing much of a teaching. I'm just going to do a hush meditation. So, I mean, like, is there a reading version?
Well, mine is cut down.
Good. Okay. So let's do it because it takes the place of the 7.
You gotta have 7. You gotta do all 7.
Yeah, do 7. We'll do it.
Cool.
After Shamra. All right. Yeah. Hey. Hola. Where'd my mask go? Oh, there it is. So, you jump up. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to this wonderful group that has gathered here, mighty and intimate. And, in the dog days of summer, I hope everybody has stayed dry or has gotten dry after the torrential rains and the floods, which, obviously made quite an impact. So we're trying to find everybody who's been affected, and there's a few people from the community who have reached out, and we're going to continue to reach out to them. For all the people that are streaming at home, we welcome you. You're part of us as well. And just hope that this beginning, this Kabbalat Shabbat, this receiving of the Sabbath, whoever is with us in whatever way, shape, or form, gives you a taste of the world to come, a taste of something different and something better, something even more holy, something that improves on what's wrong and makes better that which is already a blessing. So I hope our songs and our prayers and our togetherness, as we get to know each other just by hearing each other's voices in song, is healing, is renewing, is reinvigorating, allowing us to kind of find our best self so we can go back out of the Shabbat bubble, even though it's not really a bubble, because we always make sure we have the windows. We don't want to be cut off, but semi-bubble, and continue to make a difference in little ways and in big ways. So on page 4, we sang with Andrew and Leslie, started with this amazing meditation on one of the verses in the Torah that some scholars say, could have just stopped right there. Hey, Rudy, Shabbat Shalom, buddy. Shabbos. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Love each other. That's what it says. Love your fellow person. Sometimes translated as love your neighbor. But it's all about loving each other. That's what we were singing over there. So we'll continue the song and the expressions. Page 4. First, a wordless melody, known in the Jewish mystical realm as a nigun, just a melody without words. And then 2 passages from the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible. First from the book of Isaiah, and then finally from the book of Psalms. All of those opening words are about how we want to welcome everyone and include everyone and make sure everyone that's here, right, feels like they're part of our community, part of us, and we're part of you. So maybe we'll even have a moment to kind of, since we're we got a minion in here, but just barely. Maybe we'll have a moment we can actually go around and everyone can say their name and say hi to the people watching from the stream and to each other. So get ready for that. So, kind of collect yourself, think about what your name is. Or make up a new one. We all have lots of names. Yailai, 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 try that again, let's hear you. of Isaiah, and they shall come to my holy mountain and rejoice in my house of prayer. My house shall be a house of prayer for all peoples. My house shall be a house of prayer for all people, and they shall come to my holy mountain and rejoice in my house of prayer. And my house shall be a house of prayer for all people. My house shall be a house of prayer for all people. The poetry and music of the Psalms. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. It is good and pleasant, it says, when we, brothers and sisters, sit together. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Amen. Wow, it's still light out, but anticipating the evening, anticipating receiving Shabbat, Kabbalat Shabbat. We're going to light candles in here, just like, Jewish households and congregations are doing all over, marking this time as sacred and hopefully enlightening and loving and meaningful and holy. So it's a pleasure to ask Lisa up here in the second row, who's got an awesome t-shirt, Black Lives Matter, and an awesome button, Jewish by choice. So there we go, like wearing it on your sleeve, as they say. That's right. We're all choosing something every day. That's for sure. So we're lighting the candles, of course, for the Sabbath. Also, we don't, Rosh Chodesh doesn't always fall on Shabbat. There are households that light candles every Rosh Chodesh, the new moon, the new month, the new Hebrew month. But sometimes we get lucky, and this is Rosh Chodesh as the Shabbat comes, and it's kind of a tough Rosh Chodesh in a way if you're kind of in sync with the season. Sorry, Lisa. You okay? No, you could definitely practice, but the matches are there too. I'm sorry I'm talking so much. That was good. But you can sit. If you want to sit.
No,
Right.
okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Anyway, it's Rosh Chodesh. It's the new moon. This new moon is Av begins, right? And in the tradition, Av is a heavy month. It's a mournful month. In just 9 days, it will be Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av. Some say the most mournful day on the Jewish calendar. And we'll have a gathering here on Tisha B'Av and talk about loved ones who have passed away and light candles and bring to mind some of the more sort of national disasters of the Jewish people, all the way back to the destruction of the temple, which is really the genesis, the impetus for Tisha B'Av. But because of Tisha B'Av, just like because of Purim, right, the month of Adar, is supposed to be, as much of a joyful month as possible. Because of Tisha B'Av, the tone of Av is heavy and ponderous and deep and sometimes mournful. Doesn't mean we're not going to have light moments during Av, hopefully, and joyful moments. Life is more complicated than just one thing or the other, right? We know that. But, it kind of goes along with the heat sometimes, and of course we've had these floods, and there's things in the world that are making us mournful, and maybe in our own lives. We had a funeral here this morning, just a awful tragedy. A wonderful man named Sidney Wolfe, Merle Freed's son, died at 43, an accident that could have been avoided, and he was a victim of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And so all the people that were here for that funeral, I said, Av is starting, and we all feel like the tradition tells us we're supposed to feel during this month, So we'll light candles for Shabbat, we'll light candles for Av, we'll light candles for Sidney Wolfe, and whatever you want to invest in this candle lighting. If you want to dedicate it to a person or a time or a moment, the light can encompass more than just one thing. So, Lisa, now's your time. She's ready. So let's sing as Lisa lights the candle. On the bottom of page 4, our Kavanah, setting the intention to begin Sabbath with the lighting of lights. Hear our prayers, we sing to you. Be gracious to the ones we love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear our prayers to you. Let us light these lights and see our way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see our way to you, and let us say Amen. Spread that light around, near and far, all the people and places that need extra light and extra love. And then bring some of that light into your own heart and soul as we sing with Leslie and Andrew the bracha, the blessing for this mitzvah of lighting candles to begin Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Thank you, Lisa. Shabbat Shalom. You can turn to someone near you and wish them a good Shabbos, a Shabbat Shalom. The camera, we can say Shabbat Shalom to the folks who are streaming from wherever they are. And I hope that we have, we'll begin this Shabbat, in the right way, with the right intention and the right attitude, and as the song says, Vishamru, keep Shabbat so that Shabbat keeps us. So let's turn now to pages 8 and 9. This next prayer/song really exemplifies Kabbalat Shabbat. It was written for this service, which was a little bit of a new addition to the standard service back in the 16th century. The mystics, the Kabbalists, thought they need, especially on Shabbat. You know, there's evening prayer in traditional Judaism every evening, right? Not everybody participates, but there is, you know, if you go to an Orthodox synagogue this time of night on a Thursday, you find a service with a scattering of people, and there is an evening service. And so the mystics thought, you know, that's nice. You got to do those. That's your obligation, do that evening prayer. But something should be different on the Sabbath. And so that's why they conceived of this preparation for Shabbat, like not just to kind of start cold, like, you know, with the Baruch or, you know, with the standard beginning, that there had to be some kind of easing in, because it's Shabbat, you want to feel Shabbat. And so this song, Lecha Dodi, was about imagining Shabbat. You know, the idea was they would sit in the mountains of Sfat up in the North Country, what's now Israel, and watch for the sun to set. And as the sun was setting, they're singing and sing in awe of the natural world, getting their hearts and souls in tune to a time of rest and peace and holiness. You know, transitioning from the work day that was to 24 hours of holiness and godliness that was to come. So as the sun set, they sang these songs and, you know, developed new prayers of receiving the Sabbath, including the Chad Dodi, anticipating Shabbat, imagining Shabbat, finding an image of whatever it is that is most beautiful to you and saying, this is what I'm entering into, this time of Sabbath.
Lecha Dodi, Liga Kala, Yadada, Yadada, Yadada,
Yadadai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Yikabela. You can remain standing if you're able, and just take a turn from facing the door, which is sort of the ritual of Lecha Dodi, to kind of actually find that presence of Shabbat, walking through the door, entering our space. You saw. Steve saw. Yeah. We'll have what he's having. That's an old one, you know. But now we turn. Thank you, Steve. We turn to the east, our direction most common of prayer. Direction for us of new beginnings, of hope. So last week, not for the first time, but it doesn't happen often except Hebrew School Wednesdays, I introduced this different melody for Baruch Hu. So I had sheets, but I don't have them this time. But you'll catch on, and certainly the Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach part, you'll hear, and you can follow along with that on page 11. But do like this melody and do like this sentiment. It definitely is a really wonderful version of Baruch Hu by a young Jewish singer-songwriter named Noah Aronson. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada lie, lie, lie. 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. Come on, guys. Yada lie, lie, lie. 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 Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Let's just move right into Shema. Page 15. Take a deep breath. Deep cleansing breath. Take a look around and see the community, which has that word unity right in it, that we've formed. Always a different permutation of the community when we come here, right? Never exactly the same, but always the same in a sense, you know, because we always figure out a way to just connect to each other. And even connected to the people who aren't here but are with us virtually, you know, whether they're here in St. Louis or far-flung places. And even connected to people who don't even know we're here, don't even know what Shabbat is. People from all walks of life and all nations and cultures and races and traditions. Really, really different we're different one to the other, let alone, you know, all those differences in groups. And yet, we proclaim that we are one, that there's a thread of connection through all of us. And it's something to hold on to. It's easy to lose it. It's easy to forget it. It's easy to dismiss it. It's easy to despair that it's real, which is why, you don't only have to say the Shema at services, but sometimes people use Shema as like a mantra. Sorry to weave traditions, but it's kind of what I do. Mantra, a way of just repeating over and over when you're not sure and you're filled with doubt and you need extra strength and extra courage and extra goodness and extra love and extra hope, extra joy. This is one of the ways that we can do that as a Jewish people, is sing Shema Yisrael, so that the ears of the world are listening, the heart of the world is receiving that message of oneness, of connection, of unity, of echad.
How awesome is creation.
How awesome is creation.
With great love we are loved.
With great love we are loved.
We are one.
We are one.
Echad. Echad. How awesome is creation.
How awesome is creation.
With great love we are loved.
With great love we are loved.
We are one. Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai 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 Echad. How awesome is creation.
How awesome is creation.
With great love we are loved.
With great love we are loved.
We are one.
We are one.
We are one. Echad. Echad.
Please be seated. Continuing from that transcendent moment, as the Torah continues from the transcendence of the Shema with the words Ve'ahavta. It's page 16. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha v'derek uvshokbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafo bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha Leman tizkeru ve'asitem et kol mitzvotai vehitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihiot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Page 18 and 19. Beginning of the section of the service that's devoted to redemption, to tikkun olam, the possibility of a better world than the world that presently exists. Freedom songs, liberation movement songs, including this very ancient liberation movement. Had an amazing conversation with a young person who's becoming bat mitzvah, not until January, but you guys all should come to this. Like it was like an hour and a half conversation about her Torah portion is Shmot, the very beginning of Exodus, and about freedom and what price freedom and why does it take so long, for freedom to happen. It was just breathtaking, really. A great conversation, and really, this young person is really feeling it and thinking about it, talking about allies, and the work we need to do. I also want to say that in the midst of everything this week, the rains and the funerals and everything, I was able to somehow get away for a day to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Kind of a pilgrimage. There's a brand new Bob Dylan Center in Tulsa, right adjacent to a little bit older Woody Guthrie Center. And it's really worth a visit if anyone's up for heading over down to Tulsa. It's a really, they're in the same building, kind of a lofty kind of building, and great part of town. So there was a movie at the beginning of the Bob Dylan Center when you walk in. It's got a very much in that sort of 21st century museum. And my son and I spent time going to all the presidential libraries and museums when he was growing up. That was his passion. And there's this way museums are kind of being, very multimedia and interactive, really very impressive. So the Dylan Center was very much in that mold. So when you walk in, there's this great kind of multimedia event going on before you get into the exhibits. And there was one part where Dylan was talking about, he was getting hounded by the press, which was kind of a motif of his early career, and he would get hounded by the press and then he would be snarky to them. It's like this whole kind of thing, kind of like a little, kind of a, I'm trying to think of the word, but it was just sort of set, this sort of way of how it went for a couple of years. And at one point, one of the reporters said, "Why are your songs so political?" And Dylan said, "I don't know if singing about people's freedom and their rights, I don't think that's really political, right? That cuts the essence of being a human." So that's why we sing freedom songs at every service. So we have page 18, the traditional song in this moment in the evening service of redemption and of escape from slavery, and then another song in another language from another time, but also a song of freedom on page 19 from South Africa in Zulu, used during the anti-apartheid movement, another movement of liberation. And so we sing them both, and there's many, many, many more where those came from. So for liberation, for freedom, for the world being a better place with our help.
Mi chamocha, Ba'alim Adonai, mi chamocha, Neder Bakodesh. Mi chamocha, Ba'alim Adonai, mi chamocha, Neder Bakodesh. Nora Tehilot, Osef Eleh. Nora Tehilot, Osef Eleh. Malchutecha ra'u v'necham bukei hayam lifnei Moshe. Malchutecha ra'u v'necham bukei לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מהחזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Sia Habakkuk yen cuencos, 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 Sia Habakkuk yen cuencos. We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching. We are marching. We are marching. We are marching in the light of God. We are marching. We are marching. We are marching. We are marching in the light of God. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh.
Amen. Page 20. Another redemption prayer. In the evening, we get a double dose. I guess in our case, it's a triple dose. So I think I listed some of the things. We lit candles. Lisa helped light candles for us for Shabbat and for Rosh Chodesh Av. And there's another sort of feature to this Shabbat, which doesn't come around every week, only 5 times a year, which is this is one of the Shabbats where we end a book of Torah. When we chant Torah tomorrow in synagogues all over the world, it'll be from the last 2 portions of the book of Numbers. And so, because Av tells us we're deep in the summer, so does the fact that we're leaving Bamidbar, the wilderness, only to come back to it in the second telling. Deuteronomy is a book we read in the summer, and if it sometimes sounds familiar, it's because it is. Deuteronomy is known as if you know that your Greek Latin prefixes, Deuteronomy, it's the second time around. From a little bit of a different point of view, a little bit of a retelling. So more to come. But this is about leaving behind for another year the book of Numbers, which is a fascinating book of the Torah. Some really wild stories of rebellions and misbehavior and plagues. It's when the action starts up again. And boy, they make up for those parts of Exodus and Leviticus where there was little action. They make up for it in our story. A lot of action in the book of Numbers. Bamidbar in the wilderness. So tomorrow I'll actually chant from the very end of the portion. And I think as many of you know, there is a ritual for when you finish the book of Torah. 5 times a year, we say a formulaic set of words. I would say it's 3 words, but it's really 2 words and 1 is repeated. I guess that's 3 words, but not 3 unique words. So I'll tell you what they are. They're chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. They're actually all 3 using the same root. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek is what we say when we finish reading a book of Torah. The word chazak is one of the words for strength. So we're saying strength, strength. And then the hit chazek is a reflexive verb. Kind of we strengthen ourselves is a good translation. So strength, strength, and we strengthen ourselves. So one way I've always thought of how to parse that is that one chazak is for how we were, our strength when we entered into the book of Torah, that we spent weeks and months studying and hearing. We were already strong, we already had a measure of strength, but then through the time of living with the book of Numbers, for example, whatever book it is, gave us another, that's the ending strength. Everything, we came in with a certain amount of strength, and we ended with a different strength for having studied it and wrestled with it. Chazak, chazak, and then, and we've strengthened ourselves. I'd like to just suggest that I'm thinking about it a little bit differently. That doesn't exclude that first explanation or any explanation you might have, right? There's 70 faces to the Torah. There's a lot of ways that you can make a teaching out of that saying. But I guess the thing I want to say is maybe what it's on its face. A double dose of strength. Chazak, chazak. Because I can speak for myself, and I know for a lot of people I've been speaking to, we just need more strength. To not let our hearts get broken by the world, by the things that are happening in our lives, people who are suffering and ill and struggling, things that are happening in society, politically and socially, people who are being excluded and re-marginalized. We need more strength than just one chazak. But the positive side is, we're giving that to ourselves. Not just chazak, but chazak, chazak. And it's not just on us to get stronger. Nit chazak. We have to strengthen each other. We have to help each other and support each other, uplift each other and encourage each other, give each other hope. Do that for others and let them do it for you. So as we sing this prayer, my blessing for all of us. Chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek. Strength, strength. We strengthen each other. Take this soul, living in my skin and bones. Take this soul and let it sing. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yahweh, always pain before a child is born. Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yahweh, it's always dark before the dawn. Hashtivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom v'hamidenu shoreinu lechaim. Hashtivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom v'hamidenu shoreinu lechaim. Allow us to lie and rise in peace. Shalom, shalom, v'hamidenu shomrenu l'chaim. Everything's gonna be alright. 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 Everything's gotta be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Ufros aleinu Sukkot, Sukkot shlomecha. Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha, and cover over us tonight with a Sukkot shalom, a shelter of peace for you, for those you love, a shelter of peace and a shelter of strength, a shelter of love over you and those you love and over all creation. May this Shabbat night, even Rosh Chodesh Av, help us find peace and bring peace and make peace and be strong and strengthen each other. Amen. Shalom. My friends, let us turn to page 23. I'm going to do something a little different tonight. Been done before, but not for a while, I think. We're going to start the way we always start the tefillah. We'll do the Adonai Sifatai Tiftach, the opening. And then we'll have everyone just sit down. And I think it was Ed Harris, right, Rabbi Ed, who brought this to us. It's a piece called The Seven Gates. And it's a singing meditation. Sarah remembers. It's a singing meditation using, of course, the seven. This is Shabbat, the seventh day. We have the seven windows. Also going off of the seven blessings of this section of prayer, some of the themes of that. You'll hear it and interpret it as you will. And then we'll kind of move towards the conclusion of the service. So, say that again? Oh, yeah, Sean, I know. Yeah, he's a rabbi. Yeah, thank you for acknowledging. That's a good thing to do. That's what we'll do. So if you're able, please stand just for a moment as we sing the psalm of opening, and then you can be seated again and just sort of participate and, immerse yourself in the seven gates. But first, Adonai, Sifatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatacha. Allah, la, 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 Adonai. Ya, la, 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 Sifatai Tiftach. Ya, la, 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatacha. Ya, la, 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 Adonai. Ya, la, 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 Sifatai Tiftach. Ya, la, 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatacha. Ya, la, 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 Adonai. Ya, la, 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 Sifatai Tiftach. Ya, la, 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatacha. Ya, la, 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 Adonai. Ya, la, 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 Sifatai Tiftach. Ya, la, 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid Tehilatacha. Sifatai Tiftach. Ya, la, 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 Ufi Yagid. Ufi Yagid
the great prayer, the standing prayer, the 7 gates of Shabbat. The first gate, the gate of the ancestors, the gate of those who came before. Yadadadai, Baruch atah Adonai Kin Avraham Yisrael Sarah. The second gate, the gate of spiritual strength, eternal power, renewing life. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. The third gate, the gate of the holy name, the name of holiness is one. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. The fourth gate, the gate of this holy day and holy night, the gate of Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. The fifth gate, the gate of return, return of holiness to the world. Baruch atah Adonai hamachazir shechinato letzion, letzion, letzion. The sixth gate, the gate of gratitude, the door of a door, we give thanks. Baruch atah Adonai atol shimcha uchanai lehador lehador. The seventh gate, gate of abundant peace, the gate of holiness, the gate of shalom. Baruch atah Adonai oseh shalom. Give us peace in our time, oseh shalom. Oh, give us peace in our times, oseh shalom.
Amen. That was the Amidah. That was even better than I remembered. That was really nice. Let's use that those gates to enter us into a moment of reflecting on healing for loved ones. So if there's anybody here that would like to mention someone in your life or yourself who could use a healing prayer, go ahead, Sylvia. Elon. We're sending them out. We've been doing it, ever since you let us know. So let us know what else we can do. But right now, we're sending Elon our prayers. We've been typing his name onto at least Rudy has been typing his name onto the chat. And here you are, live in person. Either way, we're praying for Elon, for Refuah Shlema. Thank you. Any other names for healing? Yes?
Man had his cancer surgery yesterday.
Okay.
And we can touch with my wife, Bonnie, and from what we hear at least, healing at this point.
Good.
And hopefully people
Good.
continue to
Thank you, Steve.
make a complete recovery.
Amen. Sending our prayers to Japan. Yeah. Anyone back here? Yeah, Karen. For your mom, Refuah Shlema. Putting prayers into the universe for her. Over here, Autumn, names from the chat.
Yes, for Victor Madrigal.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And for my friend's brother, Woody Jones, who was attacked by a dog.
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
Really a mess. And for all of Sid Wolf's family, but particularly his mother,
Yeah.
Merle.
Yeah. We're keeping the Freeds and the Wolves, all of them in our hearts and souls. It's a rough time. Going to add some names from our healing list. We're praying for Jody Rich and Samuel and Jonah Beer, Mindy Kaiser and Corey Powell, Xavier and Shirley Ernst, Benjamin Jonathan, and Elon's on our list. Jack Samuel Geller, Lori Bliss, and Rick Isserman just texted me the other day. Paul Michel, and also last week I was handed a note from Eileen to pray for Lois Chait, who has COVID. I hope she's over the COVID now, but we'll keep her on our prayers just in case. The sister of Harold Craven, Harold of blessed memory. So think about all those good people and all the people who we always think about for healing. Put my mom in the mix as well. Let's sing on page 34, our Misha Barak prayer for healing for those we love and all those who are ill.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Makor Archalimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor avrecha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
And there on page 34, underneath the body of the prayer, is the ending of the prayer that we hope and pray seals it for those who need healing. We say together, Baruch atah Adonai, Rofeh HaCholim. Blessed is God who teaches us ways to bring healing to those who are sick. Amen. I'm going to do a few announcements, I think, before we conclude with Kaddish, and we'll have a say the blessings out in the Oneg room and have a little nosh together so that we can start Shabbat out right, sharing with one another and enjoying each other's company and breaking bread. But there are a few announcements beyond the regular programs, adult education, all the different groups that meet. You can definitely find all of that on our calendar at the website, centralreform.org. But a few things that are sort of unique to this moment. Of course, flood relief, we definitely want to make sure that we are collecting resources for those who need them, those in our area who've been affected by the floods. There's this whole, I'm sure this notion of environmental justice, that there are usually places in deep economic despair that but that are often in places that are hardest hit by environmental and weather disasters, just that because we put those places in the areas that are the most vulnerable. And so it's often the people that are already vulnerable who become more so with environmental degradation and climate related events. So anyway, we have resources how you can help others. If you go to our website and /flood-relief, and I'm sure Autumn is showing that on the social media. Also, if you or someone, we're trying to reach CRC members who've been impacted. We've heard from a couple of people trying to figure out how to help people who have had major damage or are really kind of suffering or scared. So we want to help those outside our community and those that are part of our community as well. So that's flood relief. Secondly, kind of in the same realm of Tikkun Olam, I'm going to just read this straight out because it says what it's supposed to say. It says, we have an opportunity to sponsor a Ukrainian family, who's going to be moving to St. Louis from Ukraine, escaping the war, through HIAS, which is the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society. They are helping synagogues set up welcome circles to help support and kind of make life as easy as possible for these new American families. We have been supporting a family from Afghanistan, the Husseinis, who are doing great. Some wonderful stories about just our connection with that family. And we are now in need of a few dedicated volunteers who have knowledge of some community resources to work with some of the people who are working with the Husseinis to get this new project underway, working with this family from Ukraine. There is an internet Zoom meeting this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. You can find it. I'm sure it'll come in the announcements, but also it's on the website. You can ask me if you need some help. But if you're interested in helping, the good start is that Zoom meeting. And then finally, I mentioned Av and Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is the 9th day of Av. It's a day of mourning. We have a service here. Tisha B'Av this year is a week from Sunday. Sunday, August 7th, Rabbi Daniel will be leading a Tisha B'Av service. It's at 7 o'clock. I was going to say different from Friday night, but that's not. We used to do Friday night at 7:30, but now everything's at 7, so that helps. 7 o'clock, it'll be in our sanctuary. It'll be live streamed. We invite members who have lost someone close to them in the past year to come and light a candle and share a memory of their loved one. Our service will also include the chanting of the Book of Lamentations, Echa, to end Tisha B'Av. It says, come early if you want at 6 o'clock. Rabbi Daniel will guide us in the ritual of wrapping tefillin. So that's a week from Sunday evening, Tisha B'Av. And then finally, just because I feel like every time I'm here, I want to just reinforce this announcement. Although it's still a ways away, although getting closer every day, the high holidays, the Yamim Noraim this year, a little different, like they have been the last couple of years. They've been different each year. This year, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, every single service will be here in our sanctuary. We'll have the wall open with chairs. We think we'll probably be just fine with some people wanting to stream, but also people wanting to be in person. We're not going to go to a large space like we have in the past before COVID. We might do it again, but for this year, we're going to be here at CRC. It'll feel nice to be together in our Sukkot Shalom, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, all the breakout sessions, the Yisker service, the Nila service, right here. So spread the word to people that are CRC people. You don't have to be a member to come to our high holiday services. But let people know our evening services are at 8 p.m., so a little different, Rosh Hashanah and Kol Nidre, and our morning services are 10 a.m., the day of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur day. Okay, so I'll keep reminding people as we get closer. There's going to be a mailing that goes out to every member of CRC, and that's that. So want to make sure before we leave each other and do our oneg that we spend some time in remembering loved ones who have passed away, and we do this at every service. We stop everything, even in the midst of a stopping time like Shabbat. We stop in the middle of that, or in the midst of that, to really devote ourselves to those we've loved and lost. And so, if you are here to say Kaddish, if this is the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one, if you are in your year of mourning, I invite you to stand if you're able, and we're going to hear from you the names of the people that we are going to have in our heart for Kaddish. So let's start with Lisa. For your brother, of blessed memory, thank you. And oh my goodness, so your parents, your mom, I can picture. Your mom and dad and Rudy, your grandparents, may their memories be a blessing. Oh, what? Ruth, we're thinking about your parents. May their memories be a blessing. Yeah, I know. Well, that's obvious. Look at who they raised. Yes. For your grandfather, Zikrono Livracha, may his memory always be a blessing. Thank you for remembering him with us in this community, your community. And Sarah? Yeah, this is the Hebrew yahrzeit. What's the West? Okay, well that's next week. Got it, I got it. Yeah. Well, for your mom. Thank you. Patricia. Yeah. Thank you. Dave, your name? No? Okay. Andrew? Leslie?
For my friend Paul Williams, for Josh Porter, died way too young. For my friend Renee Deal, and now for Sid Wolf, who died way too young as well.
Yeah, Rudy. Yeah, I got his name on the list. Thank you. Before everyone stands, Autumn, names from the chat.
Yes, we have Mark Hosler, Storm Hyman, Dan Barker, and Isaac Farber Kennedy.
Thank you. And now let's all stand, those who are able, stand together so we can add to those wonderful names, people that we're remembering, as Rudy reminds us, people from our congregation who have passed away, including this weekend being the yard site of Charlene Schneider and Doris Barton Duke and Sam Oberman and Stephanie Solomon and Friedel Helga Uschitel. Wow. I remember that. Susan and Ben's daughter-in-law. Francis Ward, Janet Ward's father. I was just in touch with Janet today, actually. Beth Ehrlich and Stanley Zerman. Roberta Feiner, who is Stacy Zeid's mom, and Janet Rosenbaum, and Robert Sugarman, and Lena Voda, Marlene Eisenstein's mom. Marlene is a Saturday morning regular, so maybe she'll be here tomorrow. We can say Kaddish again for her mom. Recent losses in our community include, as Leslie said, Sydney Wolf from Maryland and St. Louis, Merle and Alan's son. For Roberta Craven, for Ruth Rosenberg and Suzanne Weidentraub, Burton Garland and Bill Weiner, for Larry Mange and Jim Rosenbaum, and Ann Mays and Miriam Fields, for David Kaskowitz and Leslie Wayne Duncan and Bill Levinson, for members of CRC, including Sylvia Ginsparg and Betty Renee Marver, and Nina Balsam and George Newman, Robert Woofsey, Howie's parents, Francis and Martin Ilovicki, Renee Deal, Faye Zimmerman, for Aubrey Yowitz and Shirley Patisha, for Art Lash, Gloria's husband, and Selena Green, and Susan Carlson, and Dr. Stan Frager, and Ann Wooten, Terrell's mom, and as Lisa mentioned, her brother Michael. For Pat Denlow, Bob's wife. For Kyle Currier, young father and husband. Samuel Nussbaum. Linda Holtzman. Linda, a wonderful member of CRC. We're having a memorial service for Linda Sunday at, I believe, 11 a.m. Her son, Alex, has organized that. And actually, I will tell you, Rudy, that we've passed the year for Andy Neiman. But you said his name anyway, which is okay, you know. But it has been more than a year, hard to fathom. So we think about all those people, those we knew, those whose names just kind of warmed our hearts and souls. And we turn our attention to the prayer. Mourner's Kaddish, page 41, continued on page 42. We say, Zikronam Livracha, may all of their memories be a blessing. This month of Av, which is all about mourning. So Kaddish has an even more of an emphasis during this month. Heaviness. We remember those who've died because of violence and diseases, though all those who died because who are dying of COVID and AIDS. And all the disasters, natural and human-created disasters. We think about all of them. We hold them all. We mourn, and we do so in our way, which is to say these ancient words together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chai echon u'v'yom echon, u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, Bagala v'izman kari ve'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mivarach le'olam olmei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitchomam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma ve'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imru amen.
Oh, עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן, ואמרו אמן, ואמרו
Amen. We always conclude with putting our arms around each other. So do that. And then we'll sing our way to the Oneg room and make our blessings. Have a little nosh and some juice. Lisa, you did a good job. The candles have stayed lit through the whole service. Well done.
Awesome.
And thanks to Leslie and Andrew for singing our way into Shabbat, and to Autumn for making sure everyone who wants to be at this service can be there no matter where they are, and to all of you. Love you very much, and just a blessing to spend this time with you. As we say, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless and keep you always. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's light shine down upon you and always be kind and loving and warm and gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And may we be granted with the greatest gift of all, the blessing, the gift of shalom in our hearts, in our homes, in our communities, where we go to school and where we work, in our neighborhoods, in our cities. God willing, soon will there be tikkun olam, healing, repair, justice, and peace throughout the whole world as we say Amen, and Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
You did a beautiful job this morning, Randy.
Yeah, Randy.
Beautiful.
Oh, man. All right.